Hi, I'm Patty with StudioR12 Stencils, and today I'm going to show you some really cool stuff. We are going to use tissue paper to make texture on our surface, and then I'm going to show you drop shadow and spattering and watercolor techniques, all kinds of cool groovy things you can do in your background. So get ready to have some fun. Hi guys, okay, so today we're going to do a really cool technique. We are going to apply tissue paper to our surface that we're going to DIY on, and we're going to use multi-purpose sealer. So, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. You are going to love it. I want to remind you that we have drawings. If you're catching this live on Facebook, then we are going to do like, share, and comment, and you can get entered to win a set of our dome brushes. The dome brushes are cut in a perfect dome in all the directions. This one's got a little lean on it, but that's wearing out. Anyway, they are perfect for doing stenciling that won't bleed under. So as I show you how to paint today, that's what I'm using to do all of our painting with. So we have 3 sets of these, and then if you catch our recast tonight, where we're answering questions live, then we have more for the people that watch in the evening as well. Okay, and then for our grand prize, we have 3 of our mandala. We have so many cool mandala stencils. So we have beautiful mandalas in different sizes. So whoever the lucky grand prize winner is will get this set of 3 mandala stencils. And make sure that you check out our mandalas on StudioR12.com. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to use quite a bit of this medium. This is DecoArt's multi-purpose sealer. Okay, you can use it on tin, you can use it on wood, MDF, plastics, you can use it on all the things. So we're going to use quite a bit of it, and then we're using just plain tissue paper. When you're unpacking all your presents, then you can recycle your tissue. Anyway, we're going to take a couple of sheets of this, and this is just like dollar store or whatever, cheap tissue. There's no brand that's specific. Put that there. What I want to do is I want to tear away all of my square edges, and I want to make just different little odd shapes with this. The square edges are ugly, and the straight edges are kind of ugly too, so I want to just fun, right? We actually kind of need all these shapes. I feel like a goofy goober standing here tearing up tissue paper. Okay, I'll use a big piece, and then I want to wad it up into just a ball of stuff. Use a couple of big ones. And actually look at them. I'm going to probably need some long skinnies, so I'll tear some of the straight away from this. Okay. And then we just make a bunch of these little pieces, and I'll get started so that you can see what the purpose is behind this. Roll that up and move these. Making a big mess already. All right. So what you do is you take your foam brush and you're going to pick up a good amount of your medium. We've got kind of a neat thing going on today. We're going to also do a hanger out of our arrow. So I'm going to put this medium down here, and then we're going to undo. I'm going to need a bigger bunch of medium because these were big pieces. And I kind of feel like I need to put a little bit more, so I want it to be like a little bit white. Then what we do is we stick down the paper, just kind of glom it on there, get out more medium. You'll use a half a bottle of this medium with this, so order 2. You also, it's one of the best sealers ever. Okay, I don't want it straight, so I'll move this around. Now this will glue to the under amount, the under medium. You don't want these big heavy ledge pieces. I've got a couple on my sample board, so a couple is good, but not too much. All right, isn't this cool? Okay, so then what we do with this is we cover the whole thing on these skinnier pieces, We do want to go around the edges, so you kind of want your paper to go over your edge, and I'll show you next with the dry one how that looks. So, and they don't have to touch, and they don't have to be everywhere. You do want to make sure they're crinkled. It's no sense doing it if it's going to be perfectly flat. Okay, and so see how that straight line is just like really straight right here. So I'm going to make it better so that it's not straight. Anything where you see something like that, just make it better. All right, so I've got a dry one. I'm going to take this away. So you just fill that whole thing up, and I'll show you on the dry. And so it's a masterpiece, right? So good. Aren't you glad that you hung around for this lesson? Truly, this gets so cool. I think I'm actually going to let you sneak peek and see where we're going with it. All right, so make sure that I don't have anything that needs any extra gluing down, but see how there's some areas that don't have paper and some do. And then we'll just use our 60 grit sanding block and just sand right on that edge, and then that'll peel right on off. Okay, and so we just clean all that up. And almost done. All right, so while I'm sanding and doing the things, tell us where you're from. Let us know, like, how did you find us? Why are you here today? And then Noelle or one of our other team members will be answering your questions live during this video, or if you catch us in the evening one, the same thing. And then you can ask whatever you want to know about for stenciling and painting, and then we will answer your questions as best we can live so that you get your answers in real time. Okay, and then when you ask the questions, that counts as like your like, share, and then comment. That's the comment part, so now all you have to do is like and share. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to base. I'm going to use a roller, and I'm going to use white paint that I can't open. Okay. And I want to use the roller because I feel like with this this brush, I would skim over the tops of things, and with the roller, the back and forth motion will make it so that I don't skip over some of the different areas. So just by doing this, I can see, and I can push as well, and it won't catch. If I'm just rubbing, I might catch some things. And then when you're done with your roller, what I like to do with mine is I put a plastic bag around it, and then I save it for either for doing another project, or I save it to wash it. Okay, so then we'll get it all nice and white. And then I'll give you a little sneaky peek. So see how cool that texture is already just with the white coat on it. Now remembering that when we're doing these techniques, that this with a burgundy with a wash of like brown over it makes it look like leather, and it's amazing, and it makes the best like Halloween projects and stuff like that. You can do it in a navy. I've just done it a bunch of different ways, and it's always beautiful. It would be great in natural and put like seashell stuff on it. There's just anything you can do with this. So just because I've painted mine we've got a Blessed by My Tribe personalized like door hanger, but you could do this technique for anything. So when you're hanging out with us and you're watching the video, just because it's not your jam doesn't mean that you won't be able to use that technique on something else. Okay, so roller, roller, roller. And rollers go really fast too. I once did a time test between a brush and a roller, and the roller I think got done in like 3 or 4 times faster than brushing paint on. So rollers are a great tool, and when you rinse them out under the water, you just squish them till they're clean, until the water runs clear, and then dry them, and you can have a couple of heads to pop on. Okay, so That is dry. And then because I don't have a bag right here, I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the water. But before I do that, we've had a lot of questions about how we clean our brushes. And so I brought a little sneak peek along to show you. So we have a ginger grater. They make them in different kinds of shapes. These little pointy things are super duper sharp. And normally I'm at a sink and normally I'm under running water, but I wanted to just share. So I've got, pretend like it's running water. And then I just scumble on this, and it doesn't matter how rough I'm being on this one. On my rake brushes, I would only go in one direction. So if you have a nice fine bristle, you go in one direction under the rinsing water until it runs clear. So in this, I'm just gonna go like that, and back and forth, and then as soon as that's clear, and you can see that they stain. Red's always gonna leave red behind. And then I have a really old one. Sometimes they seem like they get shorter, but the shorter they get, the better they get. I like them better when they get a little bit tighter like that. I don't know why I had my water over here, because I had fake running water. Anyway, that's how we clean our brushes. So now I'll put that roller inside there. And with like this medium and stuff on that foam brush, you don't want to leave that out at all, because this is going to hard dry, okay? You don't want that. All right, I'm going to get a new palette paper. I like to paint with palette paper instead of paper plates because it's flat. And flat makes it easier for my brushes, for my paper towels to be there. Okay, I have to spend a moment on the blow dryer. It's still wet. Okay, not quite dry, but I think what I'll do, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I'm going to show you about the arrow, and then we'll base that arrow and give that just a little bit more drying time. Okay, so this is the stencil that we're going to do, and this is one of our personalized stencils. And what I love about our website is that we have like 5,000 stencils, but we have a couple hundred personalized, and that makes the perfect gift. Like if you think about housewarming gift, wedding presents, birthday presents, a present for mom. Like if you think about mom, she is hard to shop for. So you would want to make like something really sweet and handmade. And you know how all of us mothers are like, you made it with your own hands, right? I'm a sucker for it. Okay, so this is what we're doing. And this is what that's gonna look like. And so that's the direction we're going. And what I want to point out, number one, I love how we've tied it to there. And then you just drill holes in your surface. But then we've done this like watercolor background, but you could do that with like any project. So you can just have fun with your colors. And then what I do for colors is I go on to like Pinterest and I go what I call palette shopping. And palette shopping is where I go and find somebody that's maybe this says coffee house. I find something that has these colors that I like, and then I apply it to a different project. I'm not copying anybody, I'm just shopping for colors that go together, and then I apply them like that. And that's a really good way to get colors. Like sometimes you don't know that pink, and I think we did a sign for Christmas that was like a pink with a gold dots and stuff, and I never would have put that together, but I saw it somewhere for some like little girl's bedroom, and I thought, oh, this would be cute. So anyway, that's the direction we're going. So I'm going to show you on our arrow, while this is getting dry, what we're going to do. So we're going to get into our paint drawer here and get out some browns. Okay, we'll get out this, whoops, that's pinker than brown. And I think I've got dark brown out. So with this, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of do a little bit slip sloppy. You don't have to have, we don't want this to be perfect. We want this to be kind of random. I don't think this brown is brown enough. I want to put a little black in it. Okay. We use acrylic paint. We just Literally, because we're a stencil company, we have to have paint by the gallons basically, and so we buy it in bulk and then we put it in these littler containers. Okay, so we'll go on our arrow and then just kind of give it a smudge of this even brown. It's kind of a khaki color, it's not really a brown. And it doesn't really even have to cover everywhere. I kind of want to be directional though, so if it skips in a line. Go this direction. And then I'm gonna brush mix. There's a lot of like fun, artsy fartsy things going on here today. So we're gonna brush mix into that and make a family of color that will belong because it's been mixed with everything else in the palette. And then I'm just gonna cut it off right there. And then maybe a little bit more black. And keeping the arrows running in an order. And then I'm gonna get out some rust. I'm cheating, I'm looking at the answers down here. And then I'm dirty brushing, if you're noticing that. It'll make all the colors go together. I'm gonna just kind of, ooh, look at that. That dirty brush part's doing it good. All right. I could go into a little bit there. When you are doing, oh, that's almost like perfect. Ta-da! I kind of love it. I think I'm not gonna do much else. Maybe a little bit darker. Everything just streaked just right. Just perfect. Okay, I think we'll leave that alone. I'm digging it. Anyway, when you dirty brush and you just let your brush kind of do the walking, if I leaned my brush, I was getting a little bit more brown. If I was on my toe, I was getting what I just picked up. So that's kind of like how that happened. So I'm gonna put this aside to dry. And let's make room for paper towels. Yeah. You never want to put your paper towels on top of here because that is going to be bad. You'll make a mistake and you'll put it down paint side. It'd be terrible. I think I am going to hit this just a touch more with blow dryer. Okay, I think I feel better about that. All right, I'm going to use an oval glaze, and I want you to make sure you're asking questions. And then I want to ask you a few questions. I want to ask you what your favorite Christmas tradition is for your family. We're about there, happening. How do you decorate your tree? Like all those kinds of things. Tell us about you guys. How many DIY signs do you have in your home? I have quite a few. Okay. This is going to be directional painting. So what I want to do is we're going to go into this, I would call this like a green blue. It's almost like a skyish color. Okay, I'm going to pick up quite a bit of water. This is the watercolor part, okay? Quite a bit of water. And I'm going to make a soupy mess with it. And then I'm going to blot my brush. Your brush is blotted enough when your water disappears off of the top. Okay, so that's when you know you have enough. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start streaking this in. And I can kind of just go every which way. Just to get a base of some color down there. The white behind it is acting like my watercolor paper. So when you base something white, what will happen is it will pick up your, it will make the color you put on top be like brighter, bolder. It's like backlighting it kind of. And then once I get this into the cracks and stuff, then we'll be able to just skip over the top of it. So this is the hard work part. Now tell me what you guys think. What would you use this technique for? And would you be afraid? And if you're afraid, would you practice on some cardboard? Can I get out my mom voice and make you practice? Make you try something hard? Okay, so, yep. Go around and round. And then tell us, if you are new to our page, tell us how you found us. And then make sure you go to YouTube and find us there as well, because it's different than Facebook. Is like things get lost on Facebook. In my opinion, I'm maybe an old school user and don't understand everything, but like I can't be the only one, right? Anyway, I lose my favorite videos. I don't remember to put them away. But on YouTube, we've made categories and things like that for you. And then you could, if you subscribe and then you ring the bell thing, then that bell will give you an alert when we're doing something new. So that way you don't need to remember us. We'll just remind you that we're there and that you want to watch videos about painting. Okay, now we're gonna go into some greens. I'm just gonna go right in wet. Make sure your paint is shaken, because you don't want to paint with that liquidy stuff. And you don't need very much paint with this because you're doing it wet, and I spilled out way too much. So I'm going to blot, add water and blot, and now I'm going to just create some interesting movement in my background. I'll pick up, I'll blot. This is basically wet and wet. Moving it around. So having these things pre-done makes it super easy to make a video, a live thing that is not like 100 hours long. But I think it might be interesting to have one where we make all the decisions live and then show like, and then share the that whole process. That might be kind of fun. What do you guys think of that? And remember, when you're liking and commenting and all of that, that you are helping your fellow crafters out, because they might not think to ask the same question you did. Okay, we're gonna go into the bright green. I'm already running out of room on my palette. This is one of those times when you just kind of let everything blend together. If you are a neatnik, this might threaten you, and then just get out a fresh sheet of palette paper. Okay, so now we've got some brighter yellows, and it helps if you stand with your hand on your hip when you're doing this. Stick your tongue out just the right way. So this is a lot of a painterly technique. So did you see that little piece right there just flop? What happens is it's waking the glue kind of back up a little bit, and I didn't dry it all the way. But once it hardens down, once it dries, it'll sink back down on there. So no worries. All right, now we're gonna get out some of our teal. Okay, so we've decided, since I can't do this right, and it's like every other video that I do it, we've decided that this is teal and this is turquoise, and I'll still say it wrong, but oh well. Okay, so we're gonna get out a little bit of the turquoise and get that watered down. Notice I'm splaying out my brush to splay that out to get it softer in my brush. If I just pick it up in the middle, it might stay right in the middle. All right, and we're gonna put some of that in here and there. And there's no right and wrong with this. So like literally no right and wrong. It can be whatever makes you happy. And honestly, it's fun to do. It is like so much fun to do. If you have a color palette that you've shopped for and you get those paints out and then you just start morphing it along and letting it play, that's a blast. Okay, and then notice that I'm not painting in a line. I'm kind of Xing and Xing. I call it slip slapping. So, and then we can peek in and go get some strong without water here and there. Walk along. get back, assess the situation, right? And we'll get into a little bit of this turquoise, and I gotta find a spot. Oh yeah, don't get a new piece of palette paper, just make a mess of it. Now we're just gonna kiss some color here and there around. Like I'm wanting it to be related to the thing that I've already done, but I'm kind of not caring, so I'm kind of going a little rogue here. Because it is just fun to do. And get a little bit in that green area. So notice that I don't have like an isolated color. So I don't have just a color in one spot. I have a little bit flowing around. They're connecting, they're moving, and things like that. So I want to deepen the colors now. I'm going to go into a little bit of the dark green. You know you're in trouble when you start putting paint on paint. Just deepen some areas. Give me some anchor on my edges. I really usually do like darker colors around my edges because they frame things. Okay, and now we are going to maybe a little bit more of this bright green. Just picking things up, dirty brush. But see how that bright green on top of that yellow, the bright green area? See how that makes it like a highlight almost, because I didn't dilute it. So that's another way that you can layer things, is by not diluting, and then it makes it into its own highlight color. And I feel like we could do that with a little bit of the turquoise. Ooh, strong. Wipe it off. Excuse me. That's fun. Okay, so we wipe that off, go over here. And then washing my brush. I don't leave these brushes in the water. I just kind of use the edge of my bucket and rinse them off, and then I will lay them flat or put them up in here. If I want to wash it out better, I'll lay it flat on my area so I remember that it's dirty. All right, I like that, and I think, you know what I think we're gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and let's spatter for, now spatters stay wet forever. So when you're spattering stays wet forever. So you wanna make sure that, that you are doing that last when you're like gonna leave it for the night or whatever. Okay, let me get out of this palette. All right, and we'll blow dry for a hot second. Are you having fun? Okay, this is going to be another second, so go ahead, talk to Noelle while I'm doing this, okay? Go get a beer, a glass of wine. No, wait, it's noon. 9 o'clock, people. You get them beer and a glass of wine. I know, who am I to make rules, right? All right. Now, we're ready to do our stencil. Okay, so we're doing our stencil, and if we want to drop shadow on round, I will tell you, on round it gets a little bit hard. So I'm just warning you right up front that if you want to do that, it's good, but oops, wrong drawer. But it is a little bit tricky. So what I want to do is, our stencils are going to be this dark brown color. Our letters are going to be the dark brown color. So, and I want to line it up so I like where the colors are placed. I think I want it more, if I was doing it to match that, a little bit more like this. Okay, so my flower goes into the light area. Okay, get it centered. Okay, and then I'm not going to tape it down because I'm just going to mark 2 spots. So drop shadowing is super cool. Okay, so number 1, stenciling with, lettering with stencils beats the ever-loving crap out of stenciling with, sorry if that's a bad word in your house, beats the ever-loving stuff out of doing it by hand. It's a terrible thing. Number 1, you've got to be a designer. Number 2, you've got to trace and base. You know, then if your hand is shaky, then you're going to have shaky letters. It takes forever to do, like I'm talking like hours, and your hand is like death grip on the brush. It's terrible. So I am thrilled that I have stencils to use for my lettering. Okay, so I'm going to use my brush, get into my color. We don't want to bleed under, so the way you do that is you always use a dry brush. These brushes are perfect, but they're not perfect wet. So if they get wet, you have to wash them out, and then you have to give them like a day to dry. So if you're somebody that does DIY a couple of days a week or something like that, you're going to need about maybe 20 of these brushes. And then I don't use the little ones as much, but I don't do a lot. I work in about this size. I'm pretty happy at this size. So I tend to use my biggest ones most, but you do need these for doing, like we're going to use these on these leaves today. So I think that you need the sets, but definitely get a couple of extra of the bigs. Okay, so the way we're not going to bleed under, we're going to pick up our paint, we're going to wipe it off, and then we're going to scumble it off. Okay, and then I'm going to mark my letter placement. So I'm going to go in this corner. I'm going to mark that corner. And then I'm going to go over here. I'll mark that one. And then I'm going to go down here. I'm trying to get a flat edge, a flat edge, a flat edge, and maybe I'll do the top of this T so that I can see evenness is what I'm after. So because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to slide it. Let's see, which way did I slide? Okay, I tend to always slide low and off to the left. There's no rule. You can go right and up if you want to, and you can go right and lower if you want to. Whatever side, you just have to stay all on the same side. All right, so we're going to evenly make this lower and to the, and because this is a wonky font, this is going to be a little bit weird. Okay, so now somewhere I should be about that much and that much. I think maybe we need to drop it down a little bit. And I think that's even. Okay, we're going to call it. It's a little bit easier to do this on a straight project. Round is tougher. Now my paper is still tacky wet, so my tape may stick and may lift. So just FYI, I know that, but I'm taking medication for it, so just kidding. All right, so now what we're going to do is do our drop shadow in a mushroomy color. Yeah. So it's like a mushroomy gray. And we're going to scumble our paint. Okay, so I'm going to offload it. And we're going to swirl. And did I do the arrow? The arrow does not get drop shadowed. The leaves do not get done, so just the lettering. Usually you do drop shadow with a darker color or a light color. This one's a little bit weird because we're doing it with this medium color. Kind of neat. Okay, so we've dropped that down, and then we're scumbling to do the paint. And I think I'm going to do the blessed, and then we'll finish like up this direction because repeats are not fun to watch. At least I don't think so. I try to think like you guys would think, like if I was watching a video about gardening or cooking or something like that. Those are my hobbies. I DIY at work, and then I go home and play in the garden. but I try to think like how I feel when I'm watching one. Okay, so now we've done that, and we're not going to show the rest of that, but we're going to take this off, and then we're going to replace on the original line, and then we'll tape the edge. Feel like that's even. Good. And now we'll go into brown with another brush. And now this is big spaces, and I'm wanting to base coat over that other color. So I am going to stipple. Stippling will coat better than doing the swirling. Will do a light coat, but then the stippling does it like strong. And then I'll make sure I hold down my stencil wherever I feel like it's lifting. I feel like because I've already swirled on this and we've got wet underneath that it's wanting to lift. Okay? Because I can hear it popping back up. It's like fake sticking. Okay, so did you guys get all your Christmas shopping done? Are you shopping online? Are you shopping in stores? Are you doing any of that? What's going on? Are you a last minute shopper? I bought my first present way back in like, I don't know, June or something like that. Okay, so we'll stipple real strong. And then the only problem I have is remembering where I hide the presents. That's my problem. So see how much stronger that's covering? And remember to like, share, and comment. You want to be the lucky winner. You can never, one day, oh my goodness, this was like tragic. I couldn't believe somebody actually had the nerve to say it. They said, "You don't need any more brushes, Patty." And I was like, oh, shot right through the heart. Yes, you always need more brushes. Like, that's like an untruth. I've been painting for 35 years and I still need brushes. So don't let anybody sell you that lie. That is, we don't need that kind of negativity in our lives, right? Okay. Yep. And so I know what's going on with this. This is raised because this all the tissue paper underneath. Couldn't figure that out. It's like, why is this popping up on me? And then because I'm stippling, I'm more conscious of the fact that it's lifting, because stippling will almost always push paint out under easier than the swirling. And I would have absolutely, right to your face, argued that one down before I learned about swirling. I'm not even sure when I learned about swirling, but I would never have said that in the past. But swirling is way safer for you to do as long as you've spent some time on your paper towel. Okay, so we're going to also do the arrow up here. Do one side, well, we'll do both sides. All right, and then our little rose gets some color. Hey, we're not far from this. Sometimes I forget that I've got a fully cooked one over here, and I don't have to finish it all the way. Okay, so we're going to paint our rose, and it's in the red family. So I'm going to red family. I've got paint on both sides of me. I don't know where I'm going. We are going to add, I think I'm going to end up brush mixing a little bit of that mushroom color. So I wouldn't want this like color to be on there and be like so bold, right? So I want to get this color on there, but I want it to melt into the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix, brush mix, and I'm only picking up just like a little teeny bit with my gray mushroomy color, and then maybe into a little bit of white to lighten it. So I know that maybe not everybody that's watching this will want to brush mix, but I want you to at least know that, like, in your future, maybe when you feel bolder, if you're not, then you'll know that, hey, I can make that color lighter. Like, adding light and dark to a color is how you're going to change it to make it darker and lighter. It will also change it a little bit, but it's at least good to know that you can do that if you ever get stuck. Okay, so now we're going to scumble our, ooh, hi, that's very bold. We're going to lighten that a little bit more white, and then scumble that on. Okay. And then I don't know if I already asked you, how'd you find us? I think I might have already asked that one. All right, now I'm going to mix into it just a little bit of the red or the orange color, and then I'm going to just go around the outer edge and kind of give it a shadow effect. And then I'll pick up a little bit of yellow. This is the I didn't use it yet, and this is they're migrating. They have a migrating pattern of paint. Okay, and we can stipple just a little teeny bit of highlight right in the middle. Get rid of that one. And now let's do our green. So the green is going to be this kind of medium toned, sagey, dark green. I'm running out of room on this side, so I'll keep it over there. And then that is going to be, maybe I'll brush mix. This is the dancing painter, right? That should be one of my boomerangs. And it's super interesting. For 35 years or 30 something years anyway, I was a sit down to painter. But in the last couple years, I find it way more liberating to stand and paint. I like a countertop height place to paint, and then I get into it a little bit more, whereas if I'm sitting at a table, I tend to be like laid back and just kind of cash about it. So this, I dive into it a little bit more. So I don't know if that makes a difference in your world, but that's what works for me these days. I don't even think I've sat and painted in 2 years. And I would have said that was crazy before. So now I'm going to switch to that little brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of my brown, and I'm going to shade on my leaf. So I'm going to just rub at the base of the leaves, and that will just shade those just a teeny bit. And good golly, Miss Molly, I think that's almost all the pieces that we have. So let's peel this off, and then I'll show you spattering. Ooh, this is so perfect. Okay, so see how that softness looks really cool, just being like gentle right there. And now the one thing I don't like is I don't like how strong my lettering is and how not distressed it is. So I'm going to sand just a little bit. Now it is wet, so I would, if I was doing this at home, I would dry this with a blow dryer, or I would let it dry completely. So if this messes up, I'm sorry, and it shouldn't mess up because I sanded the other one too. All right, so just gently, ooh, yeah, did you see that? It just pulled that away, and then it just made that texture shine. Now it's pulling stronger than I would normally like, but that's because it's wet. But it's doing exactly what I wanted. And I would probably go over this whole thing once I have all the lettering done. And now, what if you get too much? Like, what if you pull that back and it's too much? I'll show you what to do. Yeah. Okay, so if you get too much, then you can just go right back to your color, dry it off. You can put the stencil back on if you want to, and just give it some makeup. If you get an area that's peeling up, then you can go right back to your medium, and you can put it down and let it dry, and you're good. This is a very durable technique. So now let me show you spattering. I gotta tell you what, I adore this this background technique. I think that it is so much fun. I can see this like on a million things. My mind's just like racing, and it's fun to do. Okay, so remember, we've got our chances for our brushes. Okay, and remember that we have mandala stencils. So 3 of these for the grand prize. So make sure that you like, share, and comment. And let me show you the spattering. Okay, so spattering is going to be with a rake brush. It is shaped this direction and then it's shaved this direction, so you can kind of see how it's fuzzy right there, and then you can see that it's oval. We want to splay it out so that there's space in between the ends of the bristles. Okay, so we're going to spatter in teal. I had to think about it. Okay, teal and I think white. I've got white out already. So we pick up water on our brush, put it on the palette, and then we make a little puddle of paint, okay? And we can load this all the way up to the ferrule. The ferrule is the silver thing. And now we splay. Okay, so I'm going to press really, and I mean hard too. Like I'm kind of being mean to the brush. All right, and I want to see those little snaggletooth feathers. I don't know, something. All right, and I'm going to test off over here. And then I'll come over here, and I liked it better when they were big, so I'm gonna only test off. It won't release them if you don't splay. So you have to splay it out. Yeah, I like that better. So I kind of want teal where my teal is. Ooh, and that's a really interesting thing. I'll put this napkin down here. If you spatter in a movement, you can make a trail. So you can use that when you need to go like through letters or something like that. So it's really cool that you can like do weird things with spattering. All right, and then we would go into maybe some of our orange. If your paint is too dry, then your spatters will be very small. If your paint is too wet, then your spatters will be very big. Okay, so that's how you control your spattering. So this is some orange. And you could do this before you finish the rest of your letters and stuff like that. And then we'll do white. White is fun. There's actually an artist that I know who says, I have two artist friends. One says that you're not finished painting until you've lined everything. And the other one says that you're not finished painting until you've spattered with black and white. And it's amazing how cool it does look. Okay, so the white, I'm gonna thicken my white because, number one, my water is dirty, so it's darkening it. But I want my white to show, and it's not showing very much. Let's thin it, pick up some more, and not tap off, but once. There we go. All right, so now we've spattered. I'm gonna go ahead and do black real quick. You got just another hot second to do like, share, and comment to get entered in. Make sure, if you will, like, so we're small business, doing the thing, just working hard to make, you guys happy. Make sure that you share pictures of your creations with us, and then we will feature them, we might not get all of them featured, but we do try to frequently feature your creations, and it like makes our hearts so happy when you do that, because like we work really, really hard to make stencils for you. So we want to know like how it's like affecting your life in a way. Like this is the stuff that's hanging on your walls, and it's what's greeting your guests, and it means something. So like that's what we do it for. That's what we do, and we want to share with you. We want you to share with us so we know. All right, so I want to show you what it looks like with black spatters. So black is just interesting because you think it's going to take over, and it really doesn't. It's a good neutral spatter. And a lot of what happens when you do black and white is it will balance your color out. So like say you've got maybe like a boring background, you add a little bit of white or black spattering and suddenly it's more interesting. So I hope that you guys have had the best time, because I had a great time. And I love this technique, and I hope that you try it, and I hope you send pictures. Have a great day.